student is interested in service to others and that theme comes through in their essay, they've got a leg up on everybody else in the admissions process.
So as far as effective essay topics goes, there's a couple of things we want to kind of keep in mind when we're sort of like choosing a topic, right? And to kind of like, share some of these quick notes, but you really want to write about something that you like honestly, like really truly care about, something that really engages you, that you can't stop thinking about or talking about with other people. If you're that interested in it, then we will be interested in it as a reader. Don't write about what you think an admissions officer wants to hear. You're almost always wrong. Furthermore, remember that a good topic is really, really complex. You're not arguing for a position, but rather you're exploring the nuances of your thinking about a particular sort of like topic or experience. And, with that in mind, Michael and I wanted to kind of give you some examples, anecdotal examples of some really strong essay topics from some students that we've worked with, and talking about, what these topics were and why these topics worked. Right. So Michael, would love to kind of give you some airtime to talk about some essays that have really stuck with you in your experience. What were they about and why do they actually work for the students?
Sure. There are two that strike me, Chris. We've talked about these before, and one of the students, you don't know the other one. But the first student was a student we worked with from Greece. I actually went to school in the UK, but her family was from Greece. And, she started talking to us about, what should I write about? And she starts telling us this story about how when her grandfather passed away and she went back to clean up his library, she started to find all these little notes in books in the library. And they were actually notes from the grandfather to her. So basically like talking to her, even though he still wasn't around. Now, I said something before about connecting the essay. The theme of her essay would have been she loved to learn. She loved to read. She was a voracious reader. She would pick up anything. She would pursue a topic far beyond what other students would do. And this essay basically kind of said this love of learning came from her grandfather. It was something that grew up with her over the years. And even after he was gone, it was still a part of her. I mean, I don't think you could write a more beautiful essay, and not everybody's going to create a story like that. And unfortunately, if you all start writing this essay, they'll all know it came from us. But I guess what I'm getting at is it does give an essence of how an essay, we're going to talk more about the concept of, maybe writing about death isn't the best topic, but that essay wasn't about death. Okay, that essay was about her love of reading that had been instilled in her by her grandfather, which continued on beyond her grandfather being there. To me, I don't think there was a better essay in the years that you and I've worked together, Chris, than that essay. And the good news is she got into Yale, and the Yale dean absolutely adored her essay. So that says something too. A less kind of complex essay like that is, I worked with a student from China last year, and he came from the northwest region of China, which, as many of you may know, is not the safest area of China right now in terms of some of the encampments that are going on up there, in terms of people up in that area. And so when he was young, his family decided that it was probably best for them to move from there to another part of China. One of the things that also was going on in that part of China was absolutely terrible pollution. It's gotten better, but at that time it was really terrible in that respect. So the boy, continued to study, came to the US, did high school in the United States, but still wanted to think about what could he do later on in life. And he decided that he wanted to study environmental science. He wanted to study environmental science because he wanted to go back to China and make a difference. Universities love the concept of people who identify a problem, particularly from where they're from, to come to college, to study how they can address that problem, and then to go back and make a difference in their community. I say all along, and I've said it in every session we've done before, if a student is interested in service to others and service to their community, and that theme comes through in their essay, they've got a leg up on everybody else in the admissions process.
So that's actually a beautiful segue, because I'll just talk about one example. But sort of building off of this sort of service sort of theme. A student of mine from New York a couple of years ago, she had the most incredible community service resume I've ever seen, to the point where, because she had done community service in so many different kind of ways, that she was named the head of the community service board for her school community, which was a real honor. Okay. And she was really interested in math and science, and really interested in health related topics, and foresaw herself going into medicine. But what was her essay about? Her essay was about fantasy sports, sabermetrics. And what was really kind of fascinating about it is that you would never think that this person was ever, into ESPN and basketball, whatever. And she kind of brought us into the essay talking about LeBron James falling on his arm and having to sink the last 2 free throws to win the championship over the Golden State Warriors in Game 7. But where the essay took us was her interest in sabermetrics, which developed, she could also start about how it developed, actually helped her understand something about herself, which is she roots for outliers. And so in many ways, her community service experience was really about searching for outliers and searching for ways to actually identify people who really do make impact in communities. And it was just sort of amazing. So, again, to your point, if you're a student who's been very engaged in their community, you're looking at solving problems locally. And in her case, her younger sister grew up with some massive eye issues, and she wound up creating an iPad reading program that she brought into a blind and low vision school. And they basically helped 200 people learn how to read. It was like crazy, but it all kind of stemmed from this interest in service and rooting for outliers, and it kind of made her entire applications kind of like come together. And, these are the people that university admissions officers want, because they're going to not only be stars unto themselves, they're going to actually make other people stars, help other people succeed, and facilitate success both on campus and, like in the story about your student from Northwest China, back in the communities at home. So these are the topics that work.